Hey guys, I'm gonna actually cover 3 different ways of studying the Bible today. I know this is one of the most important questions that I've seen over my 27 years of actually studying, reading the Bible, and getting really a lot of revelation from it. And of course, it's how do you study? What do you do? How did you learn so much? Yeah, besides, of course, listening to a lot of people preach the word, one of the first things I gotta tell you is that I'm a I'm a very much an avid reader of the Word of God. I've read many books, and even on my Kindle, the other day I was with a client and we were looking through my Kindle online on, read.amazon.com, the Kindle on the browser. And there's more than 400 books in there. A bunch of them are spiritual books, of course, because that's one of the things that I'm about, right? So let's delve into those 3 ways quickly. And then there's more. I'll reveal some more at the end. And of course, in the description down below, you'll find a total of 12 different ways of actually studying the Bible. Again, that's 12 different ways of studying the Bible. Okay, so one of the key things I want to remind you of is if you're watching this live on YouTube or you're watching the replay, whatever it is, leave me a comment. Let me know that this is actually making a difference for you. And if you have a question related to the topic today, go ahead and ask it. So first thing I gotta say is that the Bible is of no private interpretation. You could go and read the books of 1st and 2nd Peter to see what Peter says about that. That book has no true private interpretation. There is a way to actually read the Bible, what it means, it says. You see what I'm saying? So God is not trying to hide things from us. Now, yeah, there are books that are poetical. There are books that are actually, and I should say poetic, right? And they have allegories in them as well, right? And that's all good. But at the end of the day, it's a very straightforward book. What he's trying to say, even if he codifies it like in the book of Revelation, still the message is clear. Right? Once you decipher the code, the message is clear. So what is the first way to study the Bible? Number one of the 3 ways that I'm going to reveal here to you. The first one is verse by verse study. And this is very important because if you're studying the Bible, you want to understand what exactly does that verse say? What exactly does it mean? And this is more or less a verse by verse study. You want to take things in their context, right? And not just spew it out at any moment and say, oh yeah, doesn't the Bible say this? Just because it says this, you need to understand the context in which it says it. And this is really where theologians go. This is where true teachers of the word go. And this is what any one of us should aspire to do as far as studying. You need to study and understand there are such laws as the law of first reference in studying the Bible that helps you to understand what you're reading here. Somebody else said something since the very first 5 books, for example, and it's based on that. And if you look at it verse by verse study, you're going to actually start truly to learn how the Old Testament and the New Testament are truly related. And it makes it one book with 40 authors. So that's really amazing just to see that in verse by verse study, keeping things in their proper context, there's so much that you're going to learn. Now, what's another way besides verse by verse study? Topical. As the word suggests, you are actually learning about a specific topic. So think about it. Maybe your favorite topic, like mine, is the topic of healing, right? So when it comes to topical study, you're going to pick a specific topic and you're going to study it across multiple books. So for example, in the case of healing, you're going to find out since Exodus 15:26, God said he is the healer of the Israelites. But not just the Israelites, he's the healer, period, right? He declares himself to be the provider, for example, to Abraham. But that's also one of his attributes that you can study throughout Old and New Testament. Same thing with healing. In the case of healing, Jesus came and not once did he refuse to heal somebody, right? So we see God's grace and his goodness still manifesting as the healer. And this is really cool, right? So on this topic alone, you could go to Matthew 8:16-17 and see that by his stripes you were healed. Go back to Isaiah 53, by his stripes you were healed. Go down to 2nd Peter, by his stripes you were healed. So you're going to actually see certain key topics repeated throughout. Why? God is trying to get your attention. He wants you to know, look, I sent my son, and even before I sent him, I wanted you to know that healing was available to you. So even if you said, I don't know if God's going to heal me, or none of that, no, the promise remains true. So it's good to study a topic because in studying that topic, you will find out, number one, what does God have to say about it? But also, number two, what is it that's available for you to receive, right? So that's very important. What's another way of studying the Bible? Well, of course, you could study it besides verse by verse, besides topical. You could do a book study. For example, you could pick up the book of Esther, study that particular book, understand what it means, what happened in that time, understand everything about that book. So you would have to pick up that book, read it from cover to cover to understand the setting of the story, what happened in that time historically, and the meaning of that in relation, right, to, let's say, the Old and the New Testament. So it doesn't matter what book, you could do a book study. But there are many other studies, including cultural studies of the word. There's so many other types that could happen. And of course, in the descriptions below, I'm going to leave you 12 different ways of studying the Bible. But ultimately, here's the one thing I want to bring out to you. Regardless of how you study the Bible, the first thing you must do is read it. So with that, today I'm inviting you to actually pick up the word and start reading it. And if that's been hard for you, I've got a special free offer for you. Let's do a 21-day reading of the word. And you know what? You might say, Pierre, that's quite a lot, actually. I don't think I have 21 days to do that. I know. This is my 15th day on my 100-day challenge, right? So let's make it less complicated. I'm going to invite you to do a 16-day reading through the Bible. And it's going to be one chapter a day. One. Okay, you're saying 16 is too much? Come on. Okay, how about a 7-day reading, right? And I know when you go on the link that I'm sending you here on timetotransformyourmind.com, you're going to find a simple challenge. It's called the reading challenge. And on that reading challenge, I want you to pick which one of those readings you want to do, right? Whether it's the 7-day, the 16-day, or the 21-day. Not going to make it any more complicated than that. 7, right? 16 or 21. You pick and I will deliver. It's that simple. So go ahead, timetotransformyourmind.com, and decide how many days you'd like to read consecutively. And let me explain why I say that word, because what happens is studies have been done, Barna report and other studies have proven that believers who claim to know Jesus Christ only read his word every so often, meaning rarely for most. And we're talking 90% of those who claim to be Christians. 2 studies, matter of fact, reveal that it's only about 10 to 15% of the Christians that read their Bible daily. Are you in that number? And even if you're not, the reality is you've got to start reading the word before you can start studying the word, right? You need to see it before you have a deeper interest in actually studying it. So while I've revealed to you 3 simple ways to study the Bible, the most important thing I want for you is that you're reading that word daily. So with that in mind, go ahead, click on the link down here, timetotransformyourmind.com. It's in the descriptions and it's also written across here. And I want you to go ahead and take a chance. Go ahead. It's a free opportunity for you to show me, as you're paying attention to these videos, I'm going to confront you nicely, right? And invite you, better said, to come out and do a little challenge with me. 7 days, 16 days, or 21 days. It's up to you. Just pick it when you go to that particular page and you will see a simple invitation. Can't have much more fun with that, right? So all I have to say now is, for those of you watching on YouTube, go ahead, like and subscribe so that YouTube, the algorithm, can promote this to even more people. But really, you are the promoter as you're watching this. Go ahead and share it with some friends and some family and let them know what you're learning. And my hope for you is that as I'm doing these particular studies for these 100 days and beyond, that you will come along with me and listen and chime in. I'm looking for conversation. I want to know what you think. Is this helping you? And of course, make sure to suggest any other topics. I've got a ton of topics, more than 100 already to cover, but suggest something and maybe I'll bring it up close in the next few videos. Again, it's Pierre, your daily motivator, your spiritual mentor. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Enjoy.